Once Upon a Time Stories from Leicester Library's Neighbourhood Services. I'm Matt, and I'm going to tell you a story today called The Sheep and the Goat. Now, I've chosen this story because of where it comes from. Because on the 21st of June in 1948, a ship came to the United Kingdom. It was called the Empire Windrush, and on that ship were more than 800 people who came from the Caribbean to live in Britain. And with them, they brought so many treasures to enrich the life of this country. And one of those treasures were their stories. Some of those stories, they started in the Caribbean, and that's where they came from. But others went back to Africa, where those people's ancestors had once lived. And so the story I've chosen for you today comes from Ethiopia, and that's a country in East Africa. The Sheep and the Goat. Once upon a time, there were two friends, a sheep and a goat. And they lived with their master, the farmer. Well, he was a cruel man. Every day, they would see the other farmers take their animals down to the pasture to eat the sweet green shoots of grass and drink fresh water from the crystal clear spring. But all they got was the brown stumpy grass from the side of the road and dirty water from a puddle, because their master would not take them anywhere. Well, they were fed up with this, and one night the sheep said to the goat, "I've had enough of this. Our master's such a cruel man. Why don't we run away?" And the goat said, "That's a good idea." And so, when their master was asleep that night, they crept out through a hole in the wall of the hut, and off they went on an adventure. Well, they'd not got very far when they met a lion, a big yellow lion. "Roar," said the lion. "Just as I was walking, thinking what I could eat for my tea, and who do I bump into but you, a tasty, plump sheep and a beautiful, succulent goat. Now I know exactly what I want for my tea." Said the goat, "But we're running away because the sky is falling down, and if you don't run soon, the sky will fall on your head and squash you flat." Well, the lion, he was terrified. He ran off back into the jungle. And the sheep and the goat carried on their way. Well, before long, they met a leopard. Tasty sheep and goat, perfect supper for a hungry leopard, he said. The sheep said, "But we're running away because the sky is falling down, and if you don't run too, the sky will fall on your head and squash you flat." "Wow," said the leopard, and off he ran back into the jungle. And the sheep and the goat carried on their way. But before long they met a hyena, laughing away. "Tasty sheep and tasty goat, perfect tea for a laughing hyena. I'm going to gobble you all up." Said the goat, "But we're running away because the sky is falling in. And if you don't run away too, it'll on your head and squash you flat." And the hyena ran laughing back into the jungle. And the sheep and the goat carried on their way. Well, eventually they reached the green pasture. And they ate that tasty green grass, those tender shoots. And they drank from that crystal clear stream. But eventually, of course, it was night time. Said the sheep, "I'm frightened. We know there are wild animals out here. What are we going to do?" the goat, "We could climb that tree over there. There are big, broad branches. If we hide up there for the night, nobody will find us." So that is exactly what they did. Up the tree they went, and they settled down for a night on those big, broad branches. But not long had passed when first the lion, and then the leopard, and then the hyena met at the foot of that tree. "Oh," said the lion, "I was tricked badly today by a sheep and a goat. They told me that the sky was falling down and it would fall on my head. I must admit I was a little bit frightened and I ran off. But now that I come to think about it, I think it was a trick." And the leopard said, "Yes, exactly the same happened to me. And I also ran off when I heard that the sky would fall on my head." And the hyena said, "Yes, me too. If I find that sheep and that goat, I'm going to gobble them all up." And the sheep and the goat, hearing this up above, they were terrified. And the goat said to the sheep, "Meh, be quiet and keep still, and they won't even know we're here." But the sheep said, "But I drank too much water at that spring and I'm bursting for a wee. I don't think I can hold it anymore." And the goat said, "You're going to have to hold it. Hold it as much as you can. I tell you what, jiggle about a bit if you need to. And whatever you do, don't think of running water." Well, the sheep sat up the tree, jiggling about, trying not to think of running water. But he couldn't help it. And he said in the end, "I can't hold it anymore. I'm going to have to go." And just then, his sharp little hoof slipped on that branch and out of the tree he fell, and he landed on top of the lion and the hyena and the leopard. Well, they all thought that the sky was falling on their head, and they ran back away into the jungle. And the sheep and the goat next morning, they came down from their tree and ate the green grass of the pasture and drank the fresh water of the spring. And as far as I know, they still live happily there to this very day. And that's the story of the sheep and the goat from Ethiopia. And I hope you enjoyed it. Now, you may have noticed that on our social media, our Facebook page and our Twitter account, Leicester Libraries Neighbourhood Services, we're sharing stories all week from last Sunday to this Friday of some of the best storytellers from the Caribbean and from Africa.